I have come here to chew bubblegum and
rank.
And I'm all out of bubblegum.
What is up? Welcome in. I am all out of bubblegum. I am Jeremy Schulman at FF_Rebel here at Adjust the Ranks, a part of the double FU, the FU times 2, the fantasy football universe. We are here today doing a Superflex PPR redraft mock draft for you today. Notice that some people were interested in the Superflex, so we decided to get it going once again. So that is scrolling down the bottom of the screen for you. If you are joining us and are interested in joining in the mock draft, that information is in the YouTube chat. You are more than welcome to join up. We are hoping to fill it very soon here. We will do our best to do so to make sure that we have a good mock for you. It'll be 12 teams as well. So all that information will be presented to you in just a few minutes. A couple of orders of business as we wait for the mock to fill. The first of which is we have a Discord that's always available in our YouTube description of every single video, especially this 30 mocks in 30 days series. So please go ahead and check that out. Also on our socials, we have a link tree and that's available there. But basically just jump into the Discord, talk ball with myself, Jesse Muller, SC Romero, Dynasty Dogs, Rich and Mike, and Spencer Buckley, among others, to give you plenty of trade advice, tips, tricks, draft issues, rate my team, start sit questions. We have it all available there for you. And then the other thing that you should consider if you have not tried it already is to get on the Fast Draft app. This is new this offseason. It's kind of a taking on Underdog, but it's really good. Put out by the player profiler team and ownership there. And it allows you to play a bunch of different games for money. You can draft all rookies, for example. You can compete in that. You can draft, different types of teams. And if you use our promo code FFU, you get a 100% first-time deposit matchup up to $25, a free $25 for you if you use our promo code. So that's enough of that. Let's get into this. Jamie, what is up? It's okay. Thanks for jumping into the mock draft here. We have about 6 spaces left. If anyone wants to jump in, the link is in the chat over here on YouTube. Jamie, thanks for joining us as usual. A couple of bits of news that we need to concern ourselves with in the NFL landscape. The first of which is that Adam Thielen has been traded officially to the Minnesota Vikings, back with his old team. That, of course, means a number of things. Number one, it means Adam Thielen has a little bit of value here for the first few weeks, less probably than being on the Carolina Panthers. But we know Tedero McMillan was kind of taking over that number 1 role there in Carolina. Adam Thielen at least can see some viability and can be left alone by defenses for the first couple of weeks. He'll get the Jordan Addison treatment while Addison is out on suspension. When Addison comes back, I don't think Thielen factors in too much from a fantasy aspect, but it is something to consider here as, Thielen does go back home, more or less, to Minnesota. A couple of other considerations here as well. The New England Patriots are jettisoning all of their wide receivers. They're pretty much sending them to San Francisco. Kendrick Bourne was cut today from New England. He will likely end up in San Francisco. San Francisco also picked up Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Valdez-Scantling, of course, MVS coming from Seattle, recently cut there. Tommy DeVito, Tommy Cutlets goes to New England. Guys like Javon Baker have also been cut there. So you can kind of see, the doors opening for some of these younger pass catchers. Maybe Kyle Williams gets a shot a little bit earlier than expected. If you go over to Detroit, Tim Patrick was released or traded. I believe he was traded to Jacksonville. I feel like that makes sense. I don't care about Tim Patrick. Of course, that's I don't want to touch him, but Isaac Tesla becomes very interesting. He's a guy who may have some potential value, especially in event of injury over there in Detroit. So that's a consideration as well. And then, all of the other issues around the league. I think the biggest one over the last day or two here is that Kaleb McGary, Atlanta Falcons tackle, is out for the season. Kaleb McGary's injury is going to keep him out, and that is going to depress the value slightly, depress the production slightly of your Atlanta Falcons. Michael Penix is going to have his share of issues. We're also going to have slight concerns about Bijan Robinson. For example, maybe he is no longer the RB1. You shouldn't have been drafting Jamar Chase behind him. Now you're definitely not. I would take CeeDee Lamb over him at this stage. I do have to move him down slightly in our rankings, but if you want to take Jahmyr Gibbs, you want to take Saquon Barkley over Bijan. I don't know that I'm doing that, but that certainly is a possibility and a consideration here. Given that news, the Atlanta offense is going to take a slight tick down. Of course, their center, Drew Dahlman, also, I believe, retired. So their offensive line, Brandon Thorne's offensive line rankings, some of the best in the business. He moved the offensive line of the Falcons from 13th down to 23rd with this news. So a big drop off there. So something to think about when you are drafting Atlanta Falcons. We've got our draft about halfway full. We're going to give it a couple of minutes here. I think we can fill it, but we'll see how it goes. Once again, it is a Superflex mock draft. So what we're doing in this case is we are, of course, valuing the quarterbacks highly. The problem with a mock draft is we don't always necessarily get people worried about their second quarterback. I think you see that a lot more in actual real drafts in Superflex. People get worried and they kind of tend to reach on that QB2. You'll see that less and less in the mock draft. So this is something that you should just be wary of. The mocks are good, but the second quarterback isn't as much of a concern here. I think we'll see that play out. As a result, I may wait, but we'll see how it goes. I'm picking from the 105. So we'll see how that goes here as we get ready to fire things up. Let me just tell the chat. We're going to go 2 minutes here. 2 minutes to start. And we'll fire this thing up. We're getting there. We got about 4 spots remaining. It is possible we get there. So let's see how it goes. In Superflex in the first round, I'm picking from the 105 on purpose. I think you get your top 4 quarterbacks in redraft, but you have a top 5. Joe Burrow for me is in that top 5. He's actually number 4. I don't care, 4 point, 6 point, whatever it is. I have him over Jalen Hurts. I just think Saquon Barkley is really the reason why Jalen Hurts is slightly lower for me. Jalen Hurts is a fantasy stud. I'm not going to argue with you if you want to take him over Daniels, if you want to take him over Burrow. I'm not doing that. But I'm guaranteed to get one of those top 5 quarterbacks, which is exactly why I want to draft in the top 5. We'll see how it goes. But the interesting thing and the interesting pivot you could do to play around with an experiment is in that range, take a Jamar Chase. If you do that, then you have the opportunity to see how things fall. But I don't think I'm going to be doing that here. I want my elite quarterback. We'll see how it falls in the second round. We'll also see what that does to the value of quarterbacks here as the draft progresses. We have, if you joined us, we have 3 spots left in this mock draft. We are about to fire this thing up. So if you want to jump in, feel free to do so. I will once again put the link in the YouTube chat right now. You do have to copy and paste the link into your browser, unfortunately, but it is there for you on YouTube. Interesting point from Jamie just before we get fired up here. I was just offered a 27-second for Braelon Allen, 10-team Superflex. I like that value. The question, Jamie, I have is, are you competing or not? Braelon Allen, of course, very young, could potentially take over as early as the second half of this season. You know, Breece Hall trade rumors, for example. We know he's better than Isaiah Davis. We know he had that, college hype and, assumption that he was going to be the guy. Just didn't materialize for him, but he's still very young. I believe he's 21 years old now. So Braelon Allen, for me, I love him. But in a 10-team, Braelon Allen is not necessarily the guy who you're going to stump for. You won the championship last year. Jamie, I would just ask how deep your bench is. If you're deep at running back, I absolutely make this deal. If you're very shallow, like I tend to be at running back, then that's a concern that I have. Bijan, Connor, Kaleb, Monty. Yeah, I mean, if you won, I'm not dying to get a 27-second round pick. That's really what it is. I'll hold Braelon Allen for the hope that maybe I can get a 26 or 20, 26 second round pick and just kind of jump up a tier. I know the 27s, we're all in love with them, the draft class, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and keep Braelon Allen simply because that's just not enough for me to move off of him, especially if you're in your championship window. So again, decent value on Braelon Allen, but no, I'm going to go ahead and try to win the league, and maybe Allen gives me that opportunity. We've got one left to go, so we're going to fire this up any second. So we're going to add it to the stage as well. And there we go, and we're good to go. So here we are. We're starting up the mock draft. Once again, this is Superflex if you are following along, so please keep that in mind. We are drafting quarterbacks, and on the clock at the 101, you'll see is John, Joe, etc. If you look at these settings here, let's take a look real quick. We've got, of course, our Superflex situation, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, but 3 flexes, so we're going a little bit deep. It may have you drafting like a Jamar Chase, like you saw go at the 101, but in Superflex, and I'm just going to remind everybody here, Superflex mock. I don't think Jamar Chase is a bad pick, especially at the 2-3 turn. If you're going to double tap quarterback, that could be a useful strategy. Personally, I love the fact that I have a shot at Jaden Daniels. I don't know if I'll get him. I will get him, and I will take him. But yeah, that is a very helpful and interesting run out, especially with the way that these guys are ranked in a 2 QB situation. We do have, the settings here set to 2 quarterback. And because of that, we have, concerns about the way that these guys are ranked in ADP. Justin Jefferson is the next ADP ranker, but Joe Burrow is still on the board. Jalen Hurts is all the way down there behind Barkley and Gibbs. Doesn't make a lot of sense. And now we actually had a few people leave toward the end of the draft because of how that run out went. It's going to further influence this situation. We had a poor pick, and people are going to go, but we'll run this one out and we'll see how it works out in a Superflex league. You may have a situation like this where, look, the top 5 quarterbacks are gone and the top 8 picks. Certainly could happen, but then where do you grab your first and second quarterback, or your second quarterback, if this is the case where everybody's scooping up value elsewhere? So we'll see how it shakes out. But yeah, it can be difficult, certainly in these mocks, to find a different scenario in terms of how people value their quarterbacks. And like I said at the top, people aren't necessarily going to take quarterbacks with as much urgency in mock drafts here as they normally would. I wish I could, force these auto drafts to take quarterbacks, but no, unfortunately, it's not working. So you see how it shook out here. Chase Jackson, Josh Allen, Bijan Robinson, who we talked about at the top, Jaden Daniels, Jefferson, Hurts, Burrow. Then you got Gibbs, Barkley, Neighbors, Lamb. I don't mind that at the end of the first round, especially when we're talking about a Superflex league where you're kind of waiting on this second tier, third tier of quarterback. Patrick Mahomes, for me, I get it. He's an anchor. I just don't necessarily believe that he is going to all of a sudden turn around with how good that defense is. But there's really not other good names. Nix, Mayfield, Herbert, Murray, Purdy. So, Patrick Mahomes should be going where he's going. But now I have an interesting decision here. I'm slightly down on Achane. I do like Bucky. I'm going to take my guy Drake London now that Bowers is gone. Drake London for me is just absolutely going to smash. We talked a little bit about the concerns about the Atlanta offense. At the same time, I think I still want Drake London over Brian Thomas Jr. Drake London, Nico Collins is an interesting conversation. I will take Drake, but it's so close there. And then when you're talking about Ladd McConkey, AJ Brown, just give me Drake. I think he's going to see all the volume he can handle. In the third round here in a Superflex league, since nobody is really taking quarterbacks, they will evaporate at the same time. I'm not going to start a trend necessarily now that I see value going off the board. Bucky Irving is available. I do like that. Chase Brown is available in a full PPR league. Those guys are great. But I kind of, I'm not going to take George Kittle this early. I kind of want to go Jackson Smith and Jigba here. And I will do that, and I'll pass up running back for one more round. I'll probably look now at a hero RB build. Running back is going to be where I'm slightly deficient because we're in Superflex. But we'll have to see how far I end up pushing quarterback 2 versus what I do at the tight end position, because that will now likely be late with Kittle sure to come off the board before my next pick at the 408. In the second round, you see the combination of running backs early and then wide receivers late. Bowers and McBride also go off the board. In the third round, we got Achane, Jacobs, Ladd, McConkey, AJ Brown, JSN. Then you got Kyron, Chase Brown, Bucky Irving, Bo Nix, Baker Mayfield, Marvin Harrison Jr., and James Cook, followed by George Kittle. There's Aaron Knows What's Up, T. Higgins, Garrett Wilson, and Justin Herbert. So we see some quarterbacks coming off the board. I think Team 9 did a smart thing, even though it was auto-drafted, where you get your 2 quarterbacks kind of back-to-back there, so you lock it in and you kind of mitigate any run that potentially happens to you. But really what should happen is 4-7 should take their first quarterback, 4-9 should take their first quarterback. I would expect that. But because I have a Jaden Daniels, I'm actually going to stand pat and look to fill out my roster elsewhere. We are in a redraft league, so that leads me into some veterans who I wouldn't normally take. Alvin Kamara is a really good value at this stage. At quarterback, we have Brock Purdy, but I'm going to wait a little bit. And I'm going to stack my guy. Terry McLaurin is right here. I don't feel like I reached for him. He was one of the top names on the board. And I will go ahead and get my 3 wide receivers in a PPR league. I feel very comfortable with this start. I'm also someone who typically fades running back. So I feel very comfortable doing that. The problem is running back, as always, dries up pretty quickly. So I have to make a decision here at the next turn. Do I grab someone like a Dak Prescott, or do I hope he falls back to me? Of course, you got Love, you got Fields, who in redraft for me is a smash pick as well. So I will wait on quarterback. And then I got Chuba Hubbard or Tet McMillan. All right, let's do it. We're going Tet. Absolutely love Tet this season. And he's just, with Adam Thielen out of town, even more so, going to get all of the volume he can handle. Bunch of bums left the draft, but that is how it goes. Before my next pick, Mr. Magic says, my league is a start 8. How early should I get Rice considering how my roster looks up until drafting him? Well, Rashi Rice typically this is Superflex League, Mr. Magic, right? So we'll see Rashi in the 7th-ish, maybe 6th-ish round after all these quarterbacks go. Rashi's been going in the 5th round every single draft. And I think now that we know that Rashi Rice is out, suspended for 6 games, I'm not comfortable taking him there. I'm not comfortable taking Xavier Worthy, who just went at the 603 in the Superflex draft there, over guys like Travis Hunter, over guys like Cortland Sutton, over guys like the guy I'm going to pick here, Jameson Williams, George Pickens. There's no way I'm taking those guys. So in a start 8, I get it, but he's going to be one of your starters. And then, of course, you're going to plug him back in when he becomes back available. The problem is, when is he going to be fully integrated and up to speed? How good is Xavier Worthy going to be in his stead? Where does Patrick Mahomes sort of, lock in to him and what he's able to do on that team? So for me, it's a concern. Quarterback's drying up here, so I'm going to go ahead and JJ or Trevor Lawrence. I'm going to go with my gut. I'm going to go JJ, but I could have just as easily gone Trevor Lawrence there for my second QB. Justin Fields taken a few picks before me by Big Game Jamie sniping me on Fields. That's the way to go. And if you see the way that this draft kind of shook out, Fields, Love, McCarthy, love those values there of Fields and McCarthy, with taking a quarterback in the first round and waiting as long as possible. As you can see, I am 0RBing it, not necessarily by choice, and I do not have a tight end, so I do not love that. But that's what we are looking at. So, Mr. Magic, to answer your question, Rashee Rice is off my board. He's off my board in a start 8 because he's going to go in the 5th, 6th round. I just can't do it. I can be good enough to kind of weather the storm. But what are we looking at upon his return? He should slot into his old role, pun intended. Just don't know. I just don't know what to expect. We know that defense is still going to be elite. Rashee Rice, I can't do it in the 5th round of a standard draft, so I'm just not doing it. That's kind of where I stand on it. Jordan Addison, for example, is a great example of a guy now going kind of after Rashee Rice and still kind of a really, really good value there. And he's only going to miss 3 games. So I'm going to take Aaron Jones here. Aaron Jones, kind of one of the last running backs I'm really confident with, even though I do like Jordan Mason. I think Jones in a PPR is excellent, and he'll slot in as my RB1. Travis Etienne is someone else I'm confident in. And if I did take McCarthy with Jones, I could have taken Trevor Lawrence and gotten Etienne, but Etienne did not make it back to me. So that's fine. I've got Jordan Mason. I'm not going to double stack that. So I'm going to have to rely on the trio of Benson, Bigsby, Eckler. I'll throw Nick Chubb in there as well. Big Bill, who still hasn't come off the board, to kind of supplement all of that. At this stage, I think what I'm going to do is take Njoku. Don't love it, but I do love that Joe Flacco is his quarterback. So I'm going to go ahead and take him. And then I'm probably going to double tap tight end to solidify that. And then I'm just going to pick a crap ton of running backs for the rest of this draft. So we'll see. I could have gone Tucker Kraft there. Tucker Kraft, you see, goes a few picks later. He is the darling. But you see what happens if you go 0RB, which I didn't necessarily do on purpose here. I haven't really been doing all offseason long. The problem is running back drives up so bad, and you miss out on these values of Ricky Pearsall at the 9.7. Love that value. Matthew Golden, Chris Olave is a valuable piece right now. Jalen Waddle went at the 8.3. Debo, Mecca Buka at the 9.12, right? I'm over here picking running backs and tight ends, and this is why I almost always go make sure I get at least one stud running back early and get one of those top 3 tight ends. I don't have to mess around, and I can get value elsewhere. I missed Pearsall. I missed Igbuka. And that's really going to sting later on in the season. So that is my concern there. I'm going to pick here, and then Mr. Magic, I'll get to the rest of your comments in just a second. We are not taking a third QB, of course. Looking at the running back position, I like Scatterbo. I like Tank Bigsby. Try and get both. We'll see if that comes back around. And at tight end, we got Kyle Pitts just staring me in the face. So we'll see what happens. Kyle Pitts at this particular value here in the 11th is juicy, but you got Jake Ferguson, you got Mason Taylor if you really need it. Njoku, I'm not completely sold on. And I think Bigsby, did Bigsby go? No, he's actually buried down there. I like a lot of the running backs. So I think what I'm likely to do here is I'll lock up tight end. I know I talk crap about these Falcons, but I still can't prevent myself from drafting them at their ADP value. I just think Pitts has that upside that we'd like to see super late, especially over those 2 guys who sandwich him in Dalton Kincaid and Jonnu Smith. And Njoku, I like him with Flacco. How long will Flacco be the guy? When will they want to see Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders? When will the season be lost? I don't know, because they have a very good defense over in Cleveland, and Flacco makes the offense functional. But we'll see how it goes. But yeah, because of Superflex, we have the running back values depressed. So I really like a lot of these late guys. In fact, let's flip it over just to show you who is available here at running back. J.K. Dobbins is still there. Maybe for the first half of the year, he's going to be see a good split. He's probably going to get the plus side of that split. At the same time, he's not long for the Denver starting role, right? So he's fine there. But Braelon Allen is a great pick. Bigsby, Aaron goes Bigsby. That's been my guy all offseason. The value on him is insane. But of course, we're PPR. So I will pick your flavor. The Jacksonville backs. See Etienne at the 9-3, Bigsby here at the 11-12. Bishop Tootin is still available. If you like those guys, go out and get those guys. But yeah, in PPR, I guess I value Etienne a little bit more, but Bigsby is a guy I can't stop clicking. So Scatterbo, we know he can catch balls, catch footballs. So we'll go with him. But there's some good values here. If you look, Jaden Blue could end up being the guy second half of the season. You got Trey Benson. I love a Trey Benson click at this stage in the draft. Najee, I can't do. I know he's just came off the pup and might be ready, but might not. But look at these guys here. Rashad White in a PPR league. Yeah, this late, sure. I'm gonna do it. No, I'm not gonna do it. Big Bill, I haven't left any of my drafts with him. I do like the value there, but Dylan Sampson staring me in the face here. The Browns just signed actually another running back to the roster. I don't remember who it was, but they just picked him up. Jerome Ford is just a guy. So it's really Dylan Sampson or bust here. Ford will get some work, but Dylan Sampson is going to be the main guy there. I do want him over Big Bill, even though Ja'Cory Merritt has been great this offseason. Back to Mr. Magic. So he's talking about the start 8 format, talking about getting Rashee Rice, where to draft him. Yeah, I'm not so concerned with bye weeks. I get it. You want to have players to slot in to all of your positions at the same time, Mr. Magic. Like, I don't even look at bye weeks. Like, if I'm going to lose a week because of my bye weeks, I'm going to lose a week. I'll make it up later. For me, in a 10, 12 team redraft league, I'm not so concerned about throwing away a week or 2 weeks, depending on how it works out, to the buys on my schedule. I'm just picking the best guys, and I'm not letting that dictate anything for me. And I haven't seen much of a huge dip in that. Sometimes I'm scrambling in one or 2 weeks, but I'm not so concerned with that. So is everybody else, right? Almost everyone on bye. I would ask you which week that is, because I think I was looking earlier today, and I think it's week 8, week 10. One of these have 6 teams on bye, but it's the only week. In fact, I can pull that up for you now just to take a look at it. NFL bye weeks 2025. Let's see what it says. And let's see if they have it broken down. Yeah, they do. So it's week 8 has 6 teams on bye. It's the Cardinals, Lions, Jags, Raiders, Rams, and Seahawks. Every other week is nicely spaced out. They did this for us so that at most you only get 4 teams on bye, but week 8 has 6 teams on bye. So I would say to you, Mr. Magic, if you are talking about a week 8 bye, you're not the only person who's going to be in that situation. Jamie, your wish is my command. Let's do it. Justin Fields still has the toe. We're a little concerned about what's going to happen with him throughout the course of the season. Does he stay healthy? I don't know. But Justin Fields just has the upside to do it for you. So I'm not mad at Justin Fields. Let's look at Jamie's team as we usually do. Let's close this out here. All right. And we'll even zoom in. There you go. All right. So Josh Allen at the top of the Superflex, can't go wrong there from the 103. So we'll move it over. We got Nico, Lab McConkey, Alvin Kamara. Love the value there. On AK, we got Mike Evans and Cortland Sutton. Not a huge Mike Evans fan this year. It's all about Ibuka for me. At the same time, Mike Evans is still going to do Mike Evans things. That's at the very least catch touchdowns and hopefully get to 1,000 yards once again. We shall see. Cortland Sutton, great click there at the 6'10". Then you get Justin Fields at the 7'3". Yeah, I like it where he goes. If he was still available at the 7'5", he's my QB2. So I like that. But taking Geno Smith, as Jamie mentions there, a few rounds later, just the kind of having that safety of that third quarterback, totally understand that. There's nothing wrong with that. And Geno Smith is in the same value at the 10-10 at the 10-10 Superflex League. Forget about it. So you got Etienne, who I was just singing the praises of. Ingram, one of my favorite later tight ends. Josh Downs with Daniel Jones kind of throwing him the football there. And Jamie did take Big Bill Krosky Merritt. So no issues there with this team at all, Jamie. This is Outside of the concern for your running backs, even though you did well to address it, this is an A team. I won't give it an A plus because I don't love the RBs. We need to be looking at something, a build like this probably, for me to give it an A plus this year. And you need to get a top 3 tight end, which you did not do, but I did not do either. Let's take a look at my team from the 105. It's Jaden Daniels, Drake London, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Terry McLaurin, Tet McMillan, and Jameson Williams. I could not pass up the value on these wide receivers, but it did hurt me elsewhere. It hurt me at quarterback, hurt me at tight end, and hurt me at running back. So be very careful if you are going 0 RB. It can really get to you, but I really do love these 5 wide receivers. I think with volume and the upside in PPR leagues to score touchdowns, especially with this group, I'm very happy with those guys that I ended up with. JJ McCarthy, between him or Trevor Lawrence, either way, that's fine with me. I went with JJ here. Aaron Jones, Njoku, and Pitts are my tight ends. Jones, Scatterbu, and Dylan Sampson as my running back. So pretty happy with this situation. I don't mind it at all. I'll give myself kind of a solid B, maybe leaning to B plus. My main issue is the running back depth. I do not like it at all. Yeah, McCarthy, I think he has top 10 upside too. People are discounting the fact that this is a Kevin O'Connell-led offense, that the weapons are amazing, and that JJ McCarthy is going to run more than you think he is and accumulate those yards. We could be looking at a Baker Mayfield-esque season from 2024 where he was a top 6 QB. I don't think he gets there, but top 10, I think, is absolutely in his range of outcomes. And how do you not throw touchdowns when you're throwing to Justin Jefferson, now Adam Thielen, Jordan Addison, eventually Aaron Jones, TJ Hawkinson? You can't avoid throwing touchdowns. I'll take the B plus. Appreciate you. My wide receivers are an A. Let's just look at the wide receivers and how it fills out the roster here as well, because this is an important consideration. So here's my team. Aaron Jones, Scatterbo, we don't love it, but London, Smith and Jigba, McLaurin, Tet, and Jama. Playing those guys every week is a huge boon to my roster. It's the tight end that's really getting to me. I need one of those top 3 guys. Probably should have reached on Kittle at the 305. I don't think it would have been a reach, but if I had Kittle and then let's say Ricky Pearsall. So this is the consideration, right? It's not necessarily only where you get these guys. It's what you give up in return. So if I take Kittle in the 3rd, even though I reached a little bit, and then I get Pearsall at the back end, is that better than JSN and Njoku? I think so. And I love JSN. So, yeah, I need one of those top 3 tight ends. And I need to continue to remind myself that if I have to reach, I need to reach in the 3rd to secure Kittle if the other 2 have gone. So this was our Superflex mock draft. We appreciate you joining us here. Again, it was full PPR. We did 12 teams here and made sure we did the best we could with people leaving the draft, but it is what it is. Listen, this is part of our 30 mocks in 30 days series. We've been out here since the beginning of August 1st, drafting teams, throwing them up on YouTube. We have a whole thread on Twitter dedicated to this to send you to all those videos. And we've done things like, we've looked at Yahoo, we've looked at ESPN and draft on those platforms. We've done a few standard drafts. We did one yesterday because some of you are playing those. We've done some guillotine league drafts and talked through those. I've done them solo. I've had guests on. It's been kind of a whole journey here in August to mock draft, just to kind of help you win your leagues. That's what our goal is here today. So we really appreciate you joining us. It is the 27th of August. That means we have 3 mock drafts left. We might squeeze in a 4th. We'll see on the 31st, but maybe not. Maybe we just dive right in because the 31st is Sunday, a week away from opening day Sunday of the NFL season. So maybe we dive into something else there. We'll see. Always in the description is our link to our Discord. You can also find it on Twitter. Go to our link tree, just jump in there, talk ball with a bunch of guys who want to talk trades, start sit questions, all sorts of different fantasies, pick your flavor of fantasy stuff. And we also have the ability for you to kind of ask questions for these live shows that we specifically run every Saturday and Sunday, but throughout the week as well. So you can get all of your questions answered there. And then, of course, if you haven't tried Fast Draft yet, use promo code FFU for free $25 if you have not played on the platform before. Jamie is saying goodbye to me in Dutch, as I am in Amsterdam. We appreciate you, Jamie. Or he's saying, anyway, it's, I don't know what tappy is, but lekker is like one of these generic terms over here in Amsterdam, which is basically tappy, maybe draft, but lekker is good. It's tasty. It's great. It's like feels good. You can use lekker in any sort of situation over here. So if you ever come to Amsterdam, regardless of what you were sampling, you can use the term lekker and feel like a Dutchie. So that's enough for me. I'm exhausted. It's 10:30 here over in Europe. So I'm going to sign off. We appreciate you joining us this time. We will see you next time. Until then.
Mock, yeah, ing, yeah, bird, yeah, 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 mockingbird.